we have our very dear Shalu, who's going to be talking about autoimmune diseases. Shalu is our certified holistic nutritionist from Sharan.
I'm very, very happy to be presenting this talk on the solution to autoimmune diseases today because I have a personal connection with autoimmune diseases, and you will soon find out what that connection is. So, before we delve into the solution of autoimmune diseases, I would like to introduce all of you to my first patient. My first patient had an autoimmune condition called ankylosing spondylitis, which is a really painful disease. This is him, and he was suffering with a lot of issues. He had crippling pain, he had a lot of stiffness in his back, his spine was fusing, so you can imagine how much stiffness and pain it would cause. He was on a lot of painkillers and steroids, because of which at the age of 31 he developed diabetes. His A1C was 12. He had hypertension. He was obese. He was 108 kilos. He was taking painkillers every day. He was also taking steroids. He was taking diabetes medicines. He was taking blood pressure medicines. And because of all these issues, he had to go to hospitals on a regular basis and had to get a lot of testing and scanning done also regularly. So, when he saw that despite taking all the medicines and uh, seeing all these the best doctors, he wasn't getting better. In fact, it was all going downhill. All this was taking obviously a physical toll on him, also mental toll, and financial toll as well, because every dose of a biosimilar injection that he used to take used to cost him 1.5 lakhs, which is not easy to afford. So he thought of taking a different route. He thought of taking his health in his hands and healing himself naturally. Once he decided to do that, this is the new him now. He has almost no pain. His mobility is much better. That means the stiffness has gotten much better. His A1C has come down to 5.6. That means the diabetes is gone. The blood pressure is normal. His weight is now 78 kilos. He has lost 30 kilos of weight. He's not on any medications at all. No hospital visits and no scans. Isn't that amazing? He was able to do this only because he decided that he's going to do something about it, and he did it. And because he wanted to get out of the suffering. And I'm so happy and so proud to tell all of you that he is none other than my own husband. So I handholded him through this, and that is why I understand deeply what it means to go through an autoimmune condition. What is the suffering, and what is the toll it takes on one's whole well being when you're suffering from something like an autoimmune condition? It's really difficult. That is why I decided that I'm going to share my learnings, my experiences with as many people as possible and help them get through this. So, today, this talk is a continuation of that. And I would like to share with all of you what we did to be able to come so far to help him get better. We found a solution which had 5 steps. So, what are those 5 steps? The 5 steps are diagnosis of the issue, root cause analysis of the issue, elimination of the causes as far as possible, nourishment of our system, and maintenance of the changes that we do. So, these were the 5 steps that we followed in order for him to get better. So, we're going to have a look at all these 5 points a little bit in detail. Let's have a look at diagnosis. Now, when it comes to autoimmune conditions, the diagnosis is sometimes quite difficult because there are no definitive tests to tell you whether you have an autoimmune condition or not, or which particular autoimmune condition you have. So diagnosis is a tricky part, but it's important to understand, it's important to be aware what an autoimmune condition is. What is autoimmunity? So when our body starts producing antibodies against our own healthy cells and tissues, that means that we have autoimmunity. So, our immune system is supposed to protect us, and it is supposed to be the guard for our body. But when our immune system starts attacking our own healthy cells and tissues, that is when we have an autoimmune condition. And that is what gives rise to most autoimmune diseases. And now, sadly, there are more than 100 types of autoimmune conditions. They are becoming more and more common, as Sharanya said. So, what is it that causes our immune system to act against us? It could be a variety of things. So, in order to solve a issue, we have to find the cause of the problem. So, for the diagnosis, it's always best if we see a doctor who's really interested in finding the cause of the issue and not interested in just going on suppressing the systems. So, the next step is root cause analysis. So, in order to cure a disease from its very base, we have to find the cause. We can't keep on suppressing the symptoms and assume that everything is going to be better. So, when it comes to autoimmunity, there are a lot of factors that can bring it up. It could be the genetic predisposition, it could be certain environmental factors, or it could be certain hormonal factors, or a lot of things. But we have to understand what is it which is in our control. Our genetic predisposition is not in our control, right? But the environment that we give a disease um, determines whether it is going to advance or whether it is going to retreat. So we can control the environmental factors. We can also control the hormonal factors by putting in the right fuel in our body so that the food that we eat doesn't create a hormonal havoc. Instead, it helps our body to maintain a proper hormonal balance. So these are the things that we can control and we should really work on them. Generally, autoimmune responses are created either because of an organ transplant or because of a blood transfusion, maybe because of a viral infection, maybe because of a vaccine, or because of certain medications, and also because of animal product consumption, right? So, once we find the cause, the next step is elimination of the cause. Because unless we eliminate the cause of the disease, the symptoms won't go away. We'll just have to keep suppressing them with medicines, more and more medicines, which cause more and more issues, right? So, the elimination is a very important step. And what all did we eliminate is what I'm going to share with all of you now. So, because his condition, my husband's condition, was also an auto-inflammatory condition, apart from being an autoimmune condition, we had to eliminate most of the things which cause increased inflammation in the body, right? And animal products are a very, very important thing to be eliminated. We were non-vegetarians. We used to eat a lot of chicken. Almost every day we used to eat chicken. Every other day it was fish, eggs, and dairy was there in almost every bite that we used to eat. So when I came to know that animal products is something which might be increasing the issue, then it was really scary in the beginning to think that I have to eliminate everything. I mean, non-veg, I could still think that, okay, many people don't eat non-veg, so it's still okay. I can give it up. But dairy, I thought was very, very difficult. I didn't know how to do it. And that's when I attended classes with Sharan, and I came to know, it's not that difficult. I came to know that we can make all kinds of meat and dairy alternatives just with the help of plant-based foods, and there are no side effects, and in fact, they are full of nutrition. So they help in our healing process also. And if you look at these pictures, they look so delicious, and they are so delicious, and they are very close to the taste of or the texture of meat and dairy products. And I replaced my favorite chicken curry with jackfruit curry. And I realized that when I used to eat chicken curries, I used to feel very heavy later, and I used to get sometimes bloating issues. But when I ate jackfruit curry with the same masalas, with the same gravy, everything, I never felt heavy. I always felt light, and I had absolutely no acidity or bloating issues. I used to have a lot of milkshakes, and me and my husband used to make a lot of different kinds of milkshakes with all the syrups and everything. And we replaced it with date, nut, and seed shakes, which are the healthy alternative, which don't have any artificial color, no artificial flavors, no sugar. Instead, it is sweetened with dates. So it's a much healthier thing to have, and it gives you almost the same satisfaction which you get from a milkshake without the side effects. And the ice creams which my husband used to enjoy post his dinner every night were replaced with fruit and ice creams. So now we always have either a mango ice cream or a jackfruit ice cream or a tender coconut ice cream ready in the fridge, always. And we really enjoyed, including my kids. We replaced the evening tea with herbal teas. So previously we used to have just one type of tea every day, the normal milk tea. Now, one day we are having a mint tea, one day we are having cinnamon tea, one day lemongrass tea, one day cardamom, one day ginger, one day turmeric, and the mullet tea, and I don't know, so many options we have. We never get bored of our herbal teas, and every day is in another new herbal tea that we have. We try different combinations. It's always exciting. So I don't miss out on anything. Like how scary it was initially, now I feel that I haven't missed out on anything, and what I've achieved is like really very difficult to achieve if I had still kept on eating the same kind of food, if I had not made these kind of diet and lifestyle changes. So, animal products which cause a lot of inflammation and which are very, very acidic in nature have to be eliminated completely. The next thing was the tricky part, eliminating all refined foods. Now, without animal products, it's still okay, but without oil and sugar was like impossible for me, because we used to add oil in everything, like in all normal households, and we used to enjoy our desserts. So uh, it was something which I didn't know how to do, and I learned it over time. It did not happen immediately. Like animal products, we just left overnight, but completely getting off of refined foods and completely switching to whole took a while. It took around a month for us to do that. We just replaced our sugar with dates, raisins, figs, and apricots, which are full of fiber, full of minerals. Sugar is so acidic, it's so addictive, and we completely got off that addiction. We replace the oils and butters with nut and seed powders, nut and seed butters, and grated coconut. So I really enjoy my peanut butter, and I also like to put some roasted peanuts on my salads and sprinkle some seeds on my salads. We replace the white rice with whole rice and millets because they are so full of fiber. Then we also replace the refined flours that we used with whole flours, and the dosas that we used to make with white rice and white urad got replaced with red rice dosas and the black urad dal. Our French fries, which my kids used to love a lot, we replaced it with baked potato wedges. Then the sweets were replaced with date, nut, and seed laddus and carrot and beetroot halwas. These were the simple replacements that we did so as to be able to get completely onto whole foods and eliminate refined foods completely. why is that important for an autoimmune condition? Because refined foods are nothing but empty calories, and also they don't have any nutrition, because most of the nutrition lies just under the skin of a food. So when you remove the skin, when you refine the product, then most of the nutrition is gone. And nutrients are the spare parts for healing. So it's really important that every bite that we are eating is full of nutrition, so that our body gets all the tools to heal. And when we are suffering from an autoimmune condition, we really need all the healing powers of the universe, because they are so difficult to um, overcome, but it's possible. So once I eliminated the animal products and refined foods, I started seeing some amazing results in my husband's issues. he it took us around 3 months to completely be on whole and completely remove animal products and see some significant results. So in a matter of 3 months, his painkillers were gone, his steroids were gone, his stiffness was almost gone, his pain was completely gone, and he lost around 10 kilos of weight. His diabetes was gone, his blood pressure was normal. So this was the change that we saw just by removing animal products and shifting to refined foods. So we thought that why not take a step ahead? That's when we removed all chemical exposure. We reduced all chemical exposure, because now it's almost impossible to remove all chemical exposure. So how did we do that? We completely changed all the products that we use every day at home. For example, the personal care products, we shifted to herbal products or more natural products. We were mostly not taking any medicines, so the chemical exposure which comes from medicines was almost gone. We started using soap nuts a lot to for all the cleaning, for the laundry, for detergents and all that. So that's how we reduced our chemical exposure. So he started feeling even better after reducing the chemical exposure for a couple of months. And then we took the next step. So just remember, it's all stepwise. If you try to do everything all together, it might be too overwhelming. So just do it stepwise, take it slow, and enjoy the process. The next step was really, really critical. It was gluten. Now, it might not be true for everybody, but this is my personal experience, and I really believe that gluten has an important role to play when it comes to autoimmune conditions. Gluten is known to increase inflammation, it is known to um, impair the ability of the body to heal and repair, and also it can result in malfunctioning of the immune system. So we removed gluten from his diet completely, and now he enjoys his millet rotis. Like one day he's having jawar roti, one day he's having ragi roti, one day bajre ki roti, one day singare ke aate ki roti. So many options are there available. We buy all organic flours and we make amazing millet rotis, and even my kids enjoy them a lot. And that's how we reduced his gluten exposure, gluten intake also, which significantly helped him. Like he started feeling more mobile, and his stiffness started getting much better. So that was the fourth point. Now the fifth point was mindless eating, which we didn't realize that we were doing, because we didn't know what mindless eating is or what mindful eating is. So we started learning more and more about it, and we started practicing mindful eating. So how did we do that? We, while we were eating the food, we were thinking more about what is the source of the food, from where it has come, what is the texture of the food, what is the smell of the food, how's the taste, is it soft, is it hard? We were just thinking about food, and not having any distractions, no television, no mobile phone, not eating in a hurry, just sitting down, relaxing in a table, maybe some soothing music, enjoying the process of eating the food, thinking why we are eating the food, and just loving the process, loving the process of picking up the food from the plate and putting into your mouth, biting it, enjoying it, and just understanding the nourishment that the food is giving. And that brought a lot of shift in the mental state also. We started valuing the food that we were eating, and we understood that every bite that we are taking is going to heal us. And that was a very, very positive thought, and it really brought a lot of difference. So that's the fifth step, the mindful eating part. And then we eliminated stress. In some situations, it's not easy to eliminate stress completely, but if there's no major stress, then there are certain things which really help in stress elimination, and exercise is one of them. Exercise really helps you get rid of stress. Then listening to soothing music, or for some people it might be following a passion, following a hobby like painting. Also, we started practicing affirmations every night before going to bed. Say five good things to yourself. What good things you are experiencing, and that really helps you get a sound sleep also, and bring down the stress levels. Also, when you stop consuming animal products, you're not taking in the stress hormones of animals into your body, and that also helps in reducing the stress levels, because the animals that we are eating, they are in a lot of stress, so there's a lot of adrenaline in their body because of the horrific conditions in which they are kept and in which they are killed. So that all that adrenaline enters our body, and it causes anxiety, stress, depression, and all the issues which have now become so common. So just eliminating animal products also goes a long way in eliminating stress. So once we take care of all the things that we have to eliminate, the next step of the five steps comes, which is nourishment. Now we've removed all the things which are making our disease advance. So now we are going to add the things which are going to heal our body and which are going to remove the cause of the disease. Okay, so how do we nourish our body? The best way to nourish our body is to eat the right kind of food. What is the best kind of food for our body? It is plant based, whole, organic food. Why is it so? Like, if you look at this picture, it's so colorful, it's so vibrant, everything looks so wholesome. These are Mother Nature's best gifts to us, and we shouldn't waste them. We should enjoy them. We should take advantage of all the goodness that Mother Nature has given us. We should use them to heal ourselves, right? Also, eating plant based food is instinctual. For example, when you go to an orchard or a farm and you look at mangoes and apples hanging from a tree, you just want to pluck them and bite into them and just enjoy them raw. Whereas when you look at animals, you don't feel like just jumping on them and biting into them and, eating them raw, right? That's not our instincts. So when we follow our instincts, when we follow Mother Nature's plans, we are always on the right track. We are always on the path to good health. And if we look at our body structure, like our teeth or our digestive system, they are very close to that of a herbivore. Like, we don't have long canines, sharp canines like carnivores. Our digestive tract is much longer than that of a carnivore. So those are signals that we have been designed in a way that we are able to make the most out of plant-based foods. We are able to digest them better, and our body can handle them better. So let's just keep it simple and follow Mother Nature's plans, right? Also, when we eat organic, whole, and plant based foods, they are very, very high in nutrition because they are grown according to Mother Nature's laws. They are all natural, whole foods which haven't been refined or processed. Nothing has been removed from it, no fiber has been removed, and that is why all the nutrients remain intact in them. And when we eat that kind of food, our body gets all the spare parts for healing. Also, whole foods are high in fiber, and fiber has a critical role to play in reducing inflammation or removing the toxins from our body. Fiber holds on to the toxins, it holds on to the fats, extra fat in our body, and it flushes it out of the system. So it's like broom for our body. It cleans the body from inside. It also helps us to stay fuller for longer, so we don't feel hungry that often. We don't tend to overeat. We don't gain excess weight. So fiber is really, really important. Also, most plant-based food is very alkaline, and our bodies are also alkaline, so it's important that we refrain from consuming foods which create a lot of acid in our body. Instead, we should focus on eating more alkaline foods, because diseases grow in an acidic environment, and it's always best to have an alkaline environment for proper health. Plant-based foods also reduce the inflammation, whereas animal-based foods increase inflammation. When you're eating organic, you're also free of all the chemical exposure, because food which is not organic might have been exposed to fertilizers or pesticides, which are all chemicals, right? And chemicals are also hormone disruptors, and our health depends a lot on hormones, especially when it comes to autoimmunity. Also, there's no cholesterol in plant-based foods. There's cholesterol only in animal-based foods, because only animals can make cholesterol. Plants can't make any cholesterol. When we eat whole plant-based food, we get more satisfaction with less calories, because our body is always hungry only for nutrients. It's never hungry for food. So when you're giving all the nutrition to the body, you get more satisfaction. That is why I always go for organic food, which is more nutrient dense, always plant-based and always whole. And the best part is that plant based food is cruelty free and suffering free. So you don't have to feel guilty about killing another living thing in order to survive, right? So that's the best part. And you just have to follow the five point plan which Sharan has for optimum health, which says eat everything plant based, eat everything whole, eat everything organic. And there are just two vitamins that we need to take care of, which are vitamin B12 and vitamin D. These are the two vitamins which we can't get enough through our food, even if we are non-vegetarians, vegetarians, vegans, whole plant-based, or whatever. We can't get enough through food. So we need to keep a check on the levels, and we need to supplement as necessary. You can find more information about vitamin B12 and vitamin D on the Sharan website. So, after we've taken care of the diagnosis, the root cause analysis, the elimination of all the bad things, nourishment of our body with all the good things, we just have to take care of one last step, which is the most important step, and that is the maintenance of our diet and lifestyle changes. How do we do that, and why is it so important? Now, when it comes to autoimmune diseases, maintenance is really, really, really important, because for autoimmune diseases, the recovery takes time. It will not happen overnight. And when I tell people about my husband's story, they say that I'm very lucky that he recovered so fast, because autoimmune diseases do take a hell lot of time. And that is because these antibodies which our immune system has already made to attack our own body, attack our own healthy tissues and cells, they have a lifespan. They need to die out. So we have to be consistent in our efforts to remove them from our system. And that is why it's very important that we don't put in a single drop of dairy in our body, or even one serving of any animal products in our meals. That has to be completely avoided, because even one serving can reverse a lot of healing. So we have to let the antibodies die. That will take a lot of time, and it takes a lot of time for the damaged tissues to heal. So we have to be patient and we have to be consistent, right? How do we stay motivated? How do we maintain this lifestyle and diet? Every time when you sit down to eat, just ask yourself one question before you start eating. Why are you eating the food? Are you eating the food simply because it's fuel for your body? Are you eating the food simply for survival? Or is there a deeper meaning to eating food? We all want to be healthy. We don't want to be ill, right? So just ask yourself this question. Are you eating the food to be healthy, or are you eating the food to be ill? the answer will always take you in the right direction. When you ask this question to yourself, you'll never make the wrong choices, because nobody wants to be ill, nobody wants to be lying in the hospital bed depending on the nurses and doctors, right? We all want to be healthy. So the best way to keep motivated is keep asking this question to yourself every time you put a bite into your body. Why are you eating the food? If it is for health, then make the right choices, right? So that's how you keep yourself motivated. And this was the solution which we adopted. So, in case you're suffering from any autoimmune condition, in case you know somebody who's suffering from it, do suggest this solution to them. You can share the link of the talk on our Facebook page with them, and let them listen to it. Let them adopt this 5 point solution. And uh, there are a few questions. I know you might have a lot of questions related to a lot of autoimmune conditions, but there are a couple of frequently asked questions which I would like to answer before we move to the next segment. And autoimmune diseases take time to get better. That is a fact which everybody should remember, because we need a lot of patience and we need consistent efforts for it to get better. Recovery may not be complete. Yes, that's true. Even my husband, even after all that we have done, once in a while, once in 6 7 months, he will have a day when he will be in pain. So it's not that it is going to, it's not something magical which will suddenly make everything good, but this is the only way, because none of the medicines, none of the doctors will be able to uh, reverse the disease completely. This is the safest and the only way to get better. But we have to remember that recovery may not be complete, but there will be recovery. Just one cheat meal on animal products can slow down the recovery. This I've already explained why it's so important not to include any animal products in any form in the diet. It's best to avoid animal ingredients in personal care products too. So when we apply something on the skin, it gets absorbed immediately. So all the things which we are trying to avoid through animal based food is present in the animal ingredients, might be present in the animal ingredients also. So we need to avoid any personal care products which are using animal ingredients. Vaccinations also to be avoided as far as possible. Now, this is a very sensitive topic, so I wouldn't like to say much, but we do have our newsletter where Dr. Nandita talks about vaccinations. Some vaccinations have been known to cause autoimmune responses, so that's why the mention is here. Talks like these can never replace a personal consultation, because this work, especially reducing medications, needs to be closely monitored and individualized. So, even though you might want to ask a lot of questions now, but let me just tell you that it's very important to study the whole case before commenting on anything. And how the response would be from the body completely depends on a lot of factors, like how advanced the disease is, how bad the symptoms are, and what is the state of the body, how much strength the body has to fight the disease or to get better. That depends on that. So any individualized advice would not be possible during the session today. And we must remember that medicines never cure, never. They always suppress the symptoms. So we have to resort to natural ways of healing. Just remember these few facts. And thank you so much for listening to me. And now we have two very amazing stories to share with you. We've got two amazing people who are going to share how they were able to overcome their autoimmune diseases. And the first person who's going to share that is our Sharanya.
So about my story, about 5 years back, when my daughter was just 1 year old, I lost vision on my left eye overnight. And after a series of tests, I got diagnosed with an autoimmune disorder called multiple sclerosis. I didn't know what an autoimmune disorder was or multiple sclerosis was. It sounded very complicated. When my neurologist explained what autoimmune disorder was, it looked very scary. And I was admitted in the hospital immediately. And after a week of IV steroids, I got my vision back, luckily. Then I was put on oral steroids and immunosuppressants, which took a toll on my body and my mind. I used to shout at people who took care of me. I was not able to walk straight. I was not active. I was always lethargic. I was not able to take care of my little daughter. So life was doomed, and we didn't know what to do. And another important thing that the doctor said was I should be always in an AC room. I should not be exposed to heat. That means in a hot place like Chennai, I cannot live a normal life. I cannot play with my daughter. I cannot cook in the kitchen. I cannot go to the beach or to the park or live a normal life. I should be living like a vegetable in the fridge. So, and this immunosuppressant, the tiny little tablet, which was only about 14 mg, costed us 30,000 rupees per month. And it was not available off the shelf in a medical store. It had to be imported with a lot of procedures. And my husband, he underwent a lot of procedures to import that medicine for me. And all this was there. And when we were looking for alternatives, we found this wonderful doctor, Dr. Nandita, and this wonderful organization called Sharan. I was not even in the position to travel then because I had a lot of pain on my brain and spinal cord and through my body. So when doctor said she could do a phone consultation, I immediately jumped into the opportunity and took a 1 hour consultation with her. And that 1 hour consultation changed my life. I actually I did not understand what she spoke. I didn't know what whole food, what plant based, all that was, and didn't even know what is the difference where I could find organic vegetables and fruits. So everything looked overwhelming initially, but I completely trusted her and did everything to the T. My family completely supported me. They wanted me to get well, and I in 3 months I saw results. I was able to stop all the other tablets other than my immunosuppressant. I was able to sleep better, eat, work better, and I was finally able to take care of my daughter. I was very, very active. So I thought something good was happening here. So I started to follow this even more religiously. And in 7 months, I was ready to stop the immunosuppressant also. And doctor took it one day at a time. She tapered down the medicine and stopped the medicine in 2 months because I had a lot of withdrawal symptoms. And it's 3 years now since I stopped the medicines, and I'm full of life now, and I'm very, very grateful to Dr. Nandita and Sharan and the entire team for working so hard to um, empower people's lives. And I would not say I'm completely cured of my autoimmune disorder. I have my symptoms here and there, but I'm not scared. I'm not scared anymore. So I'm taking my time. I'm giving the body the right conditions, and letting my body heal by itself. So I always felt that multiple sclerosis was a blessing in disguise for me, because if not for MS, I would not have changed my lifestyle and my daughter's lifestyle and my entire family who's following this whole food plant based, and we are all healthy now. So MS is a blessing in disguise for me. Yeah. Thank you, Shalu, for this opportunity.
Many, many congratulations, Sharanya, for this wonderful journey that you've covered, and for all the health achievements that you've got out of this lifestyle.
Yes, yes, yes.
So, Sharanya, do you want to introduce the next guest?
Yes. So the next guest is my aunt, actually my uncle who got autoimmune, but my aunt is going to explain the issues he had and the problems they faced and how they overcame it. So Gauri auntie will be our next testimony.
So, Gauriji, would you like to tell us what was the problem your husband was having, and how did you come to know what it is? How was the diagnosis done?
அவருக்கு வந்த ஆட்டோ இம்யூன் டிசார்டர் பேரு வாஸ்குலிட்டிஸ். அது அவரோட பிளட் வெசல்ஸ டேமேஜ் பண்ண ஆரம்பிச்சது. 3 வருஷத்துக்கு முன்னால அவருடைய வலது கால் பாதம் கருப்பு கலரா மாறி வீங்கிருச்சு. அதுக்கான ட்ரீட்மெண்ட்டுக்காக நாங்க நிறைய ஹாஸ்பிட்டல்ஸ் போனோம். பட் வந்து யாருனாலையும் அது என்ன பிரச்சனை அப்படின்னு சொல்லிட்டு கண்டுபிடிக்க முடியல. அது ஆட்டோஇம்யூன் டிசார்டர்னு சொல்லி டயக்னைஸ் பண்றதுக்கே 3 months ஆயிருச்சு. அதுக்கு நடுவுல அவருடைய பாதத்துல ஏற்பட்ட புண்கள்னால அவருடைய 4 விரல்களை எடுத்துட்டோம். அதுக்கப்புறம் அவருடைய லங்ஸ் வந்து ரொம்ப சிவியரா டேமேஜ் ஆகி அவர் பிரீத்திங் ரொம்ப மோசமாகி வென்டிலேட்டர் சப்போர்ட் தேவைப்படுற அளவுக்கு ரொம்ப சீரியஸ் ஆயிட்டாரு. அவருடைய கிட்னியும் ஃபங்க்ஷனிங் வந்து கம்மியாக ஆரம்பிச்சிருச்சு, கிரையாட்டின்ஸ் எல்லாம் அதிகமாக ஆரம்பிச்சிருச்சு. அதுக்கப்புறம் தான் எங்களால டயக்னைஸ் பண்ண முடிஞ்சது.
So Gauri auntie says about 3 years back, her husband's right foot turned black, and they went to the doctor, and without diagnosing it as an autoimmune disorder, they removed 4 toes from his right foot, and he also had lung issues and was on ventilator support in a critical care. And after that, it took them 3 months to diagnose and this autoimmune condition, which is vasculitis, which will affect his blood cells.
Okay. So what was the treatment given by the doctors after the toes were removed and all? What did the doctor suggest?
அவருக்கு வந்து இம்யூனிட்டி சப்ரஷன் பண்ணாங்க. அப்புறம் 8 times பிளாஸ்மா டிரான்ஸ்பிளான்டேஷன் செஞ்சாங்க. அதுக்கப்புறம் ஸ்டெராய்ட்ஸ் வந்து ரெகுலரா எடுத்துக்கணும் அப்படின்னு சொல்லி செஞ்சாங்க. இந்த ட்ரீட்மெண்ட் எல்லாம் கொடுத்தாங்க அவங்களுக்கு.
He was on immunosuppressants, 8 plasma transplantations, and steroids.
Oh, and after taking all this, was he getting better?
இல்லைங்க, ஒன்னும் சரி ஆகல. அவருக்கு இஷ்யூஸ் தான் இன்னும் அதிகமாயிருச்சு. ஸ்டெராய்ட்ஸ் எடுக்க எடுக்க டயபெட்டிஸ் ரொம்ப அதிகமாயிருச்சு. கிட்னி வந்து கிரையாட்டின் லெவல்ஸும் அதிகமாக ஆரம்பிச்சிருச்சு. ஆட்டோஇம்யூன் டிசார்டரும் வந்து கண்ட்ரோல் ஆகல. 1.5 yearsக்கு அப்புறம் திரும்பியும் ரொம்ப அதிகமாகி திரும்பவும் இம்யூனோ சப்ரஷன் இன்னொரு தடவை பண்ணோம். அந்த மாதிரி கண்டிஷன் இருந்ததுங்க. எந்த இம்ப்ரூவ்மெண்ட்டும் தெரியலைங்க.
There was no improvement. His diabetes levels increased. His his autoimmune disease did not subside. He was on immunosuppressants further, and his creatinine levels increased also.
Oh, so it must have been very difficult for you, Gauriji.
கண்டிப்பா ரொம்ப ரொம்ப கஷ்டப்பட்டார் அவரு. இதுல இருந்து எப்படி மீண்டு வர்றது அப்படின்னு சொல்லிட்டு ரொம்ப தடுமாறினோம். ஏன்னா எந்த சொல்யூஷனும் எங்களுக்கு கிடைக்கல. டாக்டர்ஸ் இருந்துட்டு நெக்ஸ்ட் ஸ்டேஜ் டயாலிசிஸ் தான் அப்படிங்கிற மாதிரி சொல்லிட்டாரு. கிட்னி வந்து கிரையாட்டின் லெவல் இன்க்ரீஸ் ஆயிட்டே போகுது, ஒன்னும் பண்ண முடியாது அப்படிங்கிற மாதிரி சொல்லிட்டாங்க.
Yes, it was a difficult time for him. Doctor said he has to undergo dialysis because his creatinine levels were increasing.
Mm-hmm. Oh. So then how did you decide to take a different route, and how did you decide to go for natural solutions? Why did you stop following the doctor's advices?
அவங்க வந்து எங்களால இவ்வளவுதான் முடியும், இதுக்கு மேல எதுவும் செய்ய முடியாது அப்படிங்கிற மாதிரி சொல்லிட்டாங்க. கிட்னி வந்து செயலிழக்க ஆரம்பிச்சிருச்சு. சோ எங்களால இத போஸ்ட்போன் தான் பண்ண முடியுமே தவிர அதை ஸ்டாப் பண்ணி அவரை வந்து குணப்படுத்த முடியாதுன்னு சொல்லிட்டாங்க. சோ அதனால அவரை குணப்படுத்துறதுக்காகவும் அவர் உயிரை காப்பாத்துறதுக்காகவும் நாங்க வேற ஒரு சொல்யூஷன் பார்க்க ஆரம்பிச்சோம்.
Doctor said they cannot do anything more than this. To save his life, they were looking for alternatives.
Oh, okay. And then how did you come to know about Sharan, and what was it that brought you to Sharan?
இது சரண பத்தி கேள்விப்பட்டப்போ அவங்க வந்து மெடிசன்ஸ் எல்லாம் எதுவும் இல்லாம டயட்லயே எல்லாமே சரி பண்ணுவோம் அப்படின்னு சொல்லி சொன்னாங்க. சோ ட்ரை பண்ணலாம். ஏன்னா இவருக்கு வந்து ஒரு நாளைக்கு 15-16 விதமான மெடிசன்ஸ் எடுத்துட்டு இருந்தாங்க. அது இல்லாம டயபெட்டிஸ்க்கு மார்னிங் அண்ட் நைட் 2 இன்ஜெக்ஷன் வேற போடுவாங்க. சோ அதுல இருந்தெல்லாம் வெளியே வரணும், ஃபுட்லயே சரி பண்ண முடியும் போது ஏன் ட்ரை பண்ண கூடாது? மெடிசன் சாப்பிட்டும் சரியாகல, பட் ஃபுட்ல கரெக்ட் பண்ண முடியும் போது ட்ரை பண்ணி பார்க்கலாம் அப்படின்னு தான் வந்தோம் நாங்க.
when they came to know about Sharan, they heard that in Sharan they cure or they help us cure without medicines. His uh, her husband had about 15 tablets every day, and diabetes injection, one in the morning and one in the night. And even though he had so many medicines, he was not getting cured. So they wanted to try a route which will hope will cure him in a natural way.
Right. So, with whom did you take a consultation at Sharan, and what were the suggestions given to you? What was the solution given?
டாக்டர் நந்திதா ஷா கிட்ட தான் கன்சல்ட் பண்ணோம். அவங்க அவரோட கேஸ் ஹிஸ்டரி ஃபுல்லா படிச்சுட்டு அவருக்கு வந்து மல்டிபிள் ப்ராப்ளம்ஸ் இருக்குமா, டயபெட்டிஸ் எல்லாம் சீக்கிரம் கியூர் பண்ணிடலாம், ஆனா ஆட்டோ இம்யூன் டிசார்டரும் கிட்னி கிரையாட்டின் லெவல்ஸையும் மெதுவா தான் சரி பண்ண முடியும். பட் அவர் டயாலிசிஸ் போற அளவுக்கு அதுல இருந்து காப்பாற்ற முடியும். அத வந்து நான் உங்களுக்கு வந்து இது ஷியோர் பண்றேன். ஆனா எவ்வளவு சீக்கிரம் முடியுங்கிறதெல்லாம் சொல்ல முடியாது. ஏன்னா அவங்க உடம்ப பொறுத்து கிரையாட்டின்ஸும் ஆட்டோமியூன் டிசார்டரும் மெதுவா தான் ஆகும், குணமாகும் அப்படின்னு சொல்லி சொன்னாங்க அவங்க.
She took a consultation with Dr. Nandita, and when Dr. Nandita read the entire history, she said he does not have one condition, he has multiple complications, and she will assure that he will come out of diabetes, but autoimmune and the creatinine and the kidney will take a long time to heal, but for sure he will not go to dialysis. That's what she assured.
Oh, so what were the changes that were suggested by her?
அவங்க வந்து அந்த பிளான்ட் பேஸ்ட் ஹோல் ஃபுட் எடுத்துக்க சொன்னாங்க, கெமிக்கல்ஸ் ஃப்ரீயா இருக்க சொன்னாங்க, ஆர்கானிக் தான் எடுத்துக்க சொன்னாங்க. அதே மாதிரி குக்கிங் ஸ்டைல் எல்லாம் மாத்த சொன்னாங்க. நிறைய அலுமினியம் இதெல்லாம் யூஸ் பண்ணக்கூடாது, பாட்ஸ் இரும்பு இதெல்லாம் தான் யூஸ் பண்ணணும்னு சொன்னாங்க. அந்த மாதிரி எல்லாம் சொன்னாங்க.
She spoke about whole food, plant-based and organic lifestyle, and she's advised them to change all aluminum cookware to iron cookware, and asked them to change the way of cooking also.
Okay. So was it easy to make all the changes? Did you find any difficulty or any challenges?
இல்ல, ரொம்ப கஷ்டமா இருந்தது. லைஃப் ஸ்டைல என்டையரா மாத்த சொன்னாங்க, அவருடைய ஃபுட் ஹேபிட்ஸையும் என்டையரா மாத்த சொன்னாங்க. சோ இனிஷியலா ரொம்ப கஷ்டமா இருந்தது. அதுக்கப்புறம் ஒரு 2 monthsல எல்லாம் அவர் டயபெட்டிக்ஸ் எல்லாம் நார்மல் லெவலுக்கு வந்தது, இன்ஜெக்ஷன்ஸ் எல்லாம் ஸ்டாப் பண்ணிட்டாங்க. அதுக்கப்புறம் அவருக்கே ஒரு கான்ஃபிடன்ஸ் வந்துருச்சு, ஓகே நம்மளுக்கு டயபெட்டிஸே நார்மல் வந்துருச்சுங்கும் போது இதெல்லாமும் கியூர் ஆயிரும் நம்மளுக்கு அப்படிங்கிற ஒரு கான்ஃபிடன்ஸ்ல அவரும் எல்லாமே ஃபாலோ பண்ண ஆரம்பிச்சாரு.
It was very difficult initially, but he found his diabetes levels go down in 2 months, and when he saw the result, he was very confident in this diet and he started to follow it very religiously.
Wow. So how is he doing now, and are you also whole plant based?
அவர் வந்து ஃபாலோ பண்றாரு, நாங்க இன்னும் முழுமையா ஃபாலோ பண்ண ஆரம்பிக்கல, ஓரளவுக்கு ஃபாலோ பண்ணிட்டு இருக்கோம்.
He is fully whole food plant based. She and her daughters are not fully plant based whole food, but they are going there.
Okay, and how is he now? How is he doing now?
முதல்ல இருந்ததுக்கு பரவாயில்லைங்க, ஒரு 30 to 40% பெட்டரா ஃபீல் பண்றாரு. ஓரளவுக்கு அவர் ரொட்டீன் ஒர்க் பாக்குறாரு, ஃபீலிங் பெட்டர்.
He's feeling 30 to 40% better, and he's slowly getting back to his normal life.
Congratulations, Gauri ji.
And the vasculitis came negative after 6 months, right, Gauri auntie?
Wow, that's amazing. Congratulations for everything that you have done. You've come a long way, and I'm sure that now from here on it will get even more better now.
கண்டிப்பா கண்டிப்பாங்க, நாங்களும் அததான் நம்புறோம்.
Thank you for inspiring us, Gauri ji, and thank you for joining us today.
நான் தான் உங்களுக்கு நன்றி சொல்லணும் இந்த வாய்ப்பை கொடுத்ததுக்கு. இதன் மூலியமா யாராவது ஒருத்தராவது அவங்களுக்கு உதவியா இருந்தது அப்படின்னா ரொம்ப சந்தோஷம். உங்களுக்கு ரொம்ப சந்தோஷம். டாக்டர் நந்திதா ஷாக்கு ரொம்ப ரொம்ப தேங்க்ஸ்.
Thank you for this opportunity. Thank you, Dr. Nandita, and letting me inspire a lot of people. If at least one person gets inspired by this talk, I'll be very happy.
Thank you. Okay,
So,
Shania, over to you.
Thank you, Gauri aunty.
Thank you, ma.
And we will now go to a Q&A session. Okay, Ramamurthy asks, does Sharan hold any session for anti-inflammatory or autoimmune specific diets?
So we don't conduct specific sessions for that, but we do have individualized, personalized consultations for that. So if you go on our website, you will see in health programs the consultations page, and you can book a consultation with either Dr. Nandita herself or with one of our expert doctors or with a nutritionist if you're not on a lot of medications, and they will study your case thoroughly. They will read the reports, and they will design a meal plan for you, which will help you get better according to your lifestyle and according to your preferences.
Madhu Sharan asks, my daughter has an autoimmune disease, Hashimoto hypothyroidism, since childhood. She's very fond of milk and curd. She eats occasionally chicken. Doctor has made us believe that she will have it all her life and can't stop medication. She takes 150 mg Thyronorm. She has no desire to change her food habits. She's 33 years and 3 months pregnant. You think she can be cured?
She can be cured if she wants to get cured. As simple as that. So it's completely up to us. If we are happy taking a medicine every morning and suffering the same issues, eating the same kind of food which has given us those issues, then nobody can cure us. It all depends on us what we want to do.
Is asthma an autoimmune disease? Jaya asks.
See, actually, there are many diseases which we don't know as of now whether they are autoimmune diseases or they are just normal diseases. So it completely depends from case to case. For example, even for thyroid, there is a thyroid which is not an autoimmune. There's a thyroid condition which is an autoimmune disease. So it's difficult to comment on that.
Okay. And we have a question. Rajinder asked, can you book a consultation if you live in the UK?
Of course, yes. All our consultations are done online. I'm seeing so many patients from the UK, from Germany, even from the US. And actually, today, one of my patients who was suffering from lupus was supposed to join us, but she wasn't able to join us. She's also seen uh, good benefits out of the lifestyle. So you can book a consultation online, you can pay online, you can do the consultation online, you can get all our support online. So you'll not miss out on anything if you're not in India.
Yeah, thank you so much, Shalu, for answering all the questions. And thank you once again for this lovely talk.